back to wearing green when I gave myself a summer haircut yesterday. So I opened with the question, where did you see God this week? So I ask you that because 10 years ago, if somebody asked me that question, I might have responded, I didn't, which by the way is the wrong answer. It just means you're not looking. Or I would have needed time to think about what did I encounter that week, what happened in my life, or who did I encounter where I saw an example of God. I would go through the week and not necessarily be looking for it. And so that's somewhat still true today, but I'm never more aware of God's presence, or at least looking for Him during the week, as on weekends when I know I'm preaching. Because I'm looking for something happening in my life in relation to the readings that I can try to use to make it more relevant to today. And so that happened to me this week, except it happened on Monday, so I was able to go to sleep for the rest of the week and not necessarily prepare as much as I normally do. But the idea was really presented early in the week. I went to see a friend of mine who I met here at St. Mark's many years ago, a former parishioner. And I've gone to him a couple of times in his professional capacity for some coaching. And it's only been 2 times, not because he charges a lot, it's actually very fair. It's more because he's very radical in what he tells me. It's very logical, but very challenging to implement. So I went to see him a couple of years ago, gave me some ideas and some things. I went to try to implement them. I kind of worked pretty hard over that, and this was more of a catch-up coaching session, if you will. And he gave me, again, I reminded him what he said to me a couple of years ago, gave me a lot more radical things. And the reason I went to see it was, back when I was 23 years old, about 30 years ago, I had set some goals for myself by the time I turned 53. And up until recently, I was nowhere on track. I had gone off the rails early on those goals. But he pointed out to me a couple of years ago, and again this week, that with some continued action, I can get back toward those goals. And so I spent about an hour and a half with him. And then as I was riding home, I was really paranoid that I'm a little older. I was worried I was going to forget some of the actions he told me. So I pulled over to the side of the road, and I wrote them down on my phone so that I wouldn't forget them. And I wrote down one of the last things he said to me, and it dawned on me right there. That was the subject for the homily. That was what related right back to the readings, at least for me, in that. And so when I went home, I emailed him the actions to make sure that I captured them all and that I got them accurately. And I told him, he's given me the material for my homily, so I'm really grateful to get it on Monday. And he said, make sure you tell everybody who you met with, because I could use the referrals. So I'm not going to tell you his name here, but if anybody's interested, I'll tell you afterwards. But the thing that he said to me that really got to me at the end was this whole thing of my goals at 23 and now being 53 and almost able to achieve them. He said, God's given you a second chance. Don't mess it up. It was really good for me to hear that, because now I've got more motivation to go implement those goals. But at the same time, I thought to today's first reading and the gospel message. In the first reading, Elijah puts his cloak on Elisha. And we hear the Elijah-Elisha thing, and it's kind of hard to differentiate the characters. But essentially, Elijah, one of the great prophets, when he puts his cloak on Elisha, is to show Elisha he's his successor. And so it requires dedication and complete devotion to following him. And Elisha says, let me go back home and kiss my parents goodbye. And Elijah has that weird response of, go back, if I done anything to you. I'm not sure what to make of that, but at the same time, we don't know whether Elisha went back. We do know that he got rid of all his belongings and complete devotion, sold his oxen, fed the people. He walked away from all his wealth and inheritance. Same thing happens in the gospel today. We know the apostles dropped everything to follow Jesus. But Jesus says to those 2 people at the end of the gospel, follow me. One says, let me go home and say goodbye to my family. And Jesus says, no one who looks behind you is fit for the kingdom of God. Seems a bit harsh, right? Just I want to go home and say goodbye to my family. And Jesus is like, I want full commitment. Well, he's always asking us for that full commitment. And again, we don't know what that person did, but it sounds like he kind of pushed Jesus aside, at least for the illustration to the apostles. But the other one's the one that really got to me. The guy that says, let me go home and bury my father. And Jesus' reply was, let the dead bury the dead. And we might hear that and think, boy, that's pretty harsh. He just wants to go home and bury his father. Except if you look at it in the context of what a lot of scripture scholars say. And that's that man's father was not dead and not even sick, fully healthy. Basically telling Jesus, I'll follow you, but I'm kind of going to hang back here. I'm not really ready for this full commitment yet. So I'll come follow you after I bury my father, which means once he's passed and all of that's behind me. So it's almost like you don't get those second chances. Except we know that we do. We know that we have a loving Father who's always willing to give us second and third chances. That's the reconciliation that the church offers, that he's given us through the sacrament of confession. That second chance that I got related directly to these readings this weekend. So again, it brings me back to that first question. Where have you seen God this week? You can reflect on where you saw him last week, but I always think it's more important to look forward, as Jesus says in the gospel. No one who looks behind the cloud is fit for the kingdom of God. Our job is to grow in our relationship with God. Our job is to look for him in things that happen in our lives, or more importantly, those we encounter. For me, it was that person that I went to see this week was with his reminder of God has given you a second chance. Don't mess it up. So we need to be looking for that. And if we're not paying attention, it's easy for him to pass us by in our lives. So I have the same challenge that you do. As I said, when I'm preaching, I know I'm looking for him. But I know I'm not preaching next week. So it's so easy for me to fall into the trap of the work world and not necessarily be looking for him in my family, in my children, in those I encounter at work. So that's the challenge for this week. All those you encounter throughout the week, look for God in that interaction and listen for what he's asking for you in your life.